maybe you can give us the top 3 most common title issues that you guys come across.
Top 3 most title issues. First one is definitely liens. Whether or not people know that they're paying their taxes, or they don't know that they're paying their taxes. So often we run into state judgments and state judgment liens. As I mentioned earlier, everybody gets that contract date and they think this is the date we're going to close. The state judgment's probably the worst one, because God bless the AG, they get so many of these. They get so many of these requests, and they do them as quickly as they can on a timely basis. But it is probably 3 weeks before they will get back on a confirmation to clear this type of lien. And that is any lien for any judgment that is owed to the state of Ohio. Certificate of judgment, that's your standard lien. So that's going to be a little easier because they're private collectors. They tend to respond quickly to get their money, but that's very common. The other one is unreleased mortgages. So anytime that we go through the closing process and we pay off a mortgage, the lender then has 90 days to file a release. Well, we don't really follow up with that. Nobody really does. For the most part, they do get taken care of. They do get released. The big issue comes when those aren't released and it was a HELOC or an open-ended mortgage where it's tied to like a credit card or a check, and somebody can continue to write checks or credit cards and take advances against the property. When that happens, there is potential for somebody else's mortgage still on your property to have a balance due.
So how is that figured out?
So the mortgage itself will come up in the public record. So we're always going to see it in the public record. Part of the process we're going to go through, we're going to ask the previous title company that did the closing to make sure that they saw it, to make sure that they collected for it, they had it paid off. If it is that HELOC, we want to make sure that they had a paid in full letter. And then we're going to start contacting that bank to be able to get that mortgage released. Different banks work on different schedules as far as some of the turnarounds. Chase Bank, I've had 2 to 3 week turnarounds. I think I had one with Huntington that was almost like 48 hours. Believe it or not, Fifth Third, I got me one within 24 hours. Never again happened, but one time they were amazing and fantastic, and turned one around very, very quickly. It's always great to find out that obviously it was paid off and it was taken care of and it had a zero balance. But I've also had the issue where it did have a balance and it was used post closing and it was $140,000.
Oh my.
That's not a surprise you want as a seller.
No,
No way.